It's T-minus 12 hours until the future of this game and gaming in general will forever be changed as Helldivers will be going multi-plat, bringing in Team Green Xbox divers. Now, what should they expect, along with new information concerning what we currently already have for PC and PlayStation, has just arrived. And then, of course, there's the question of, I'm a new diver, what do I use, where do I get it, and what can I do to avoid wasting time in those early hours of the morning? Well, don't worry, because I've got all that and more covered for you in this one. Remember to hit subscribe and to ring the notifications bell to stay up to date on all things Helldivers. And here we go with the latest and greatest from our favorite cup of liberty-delivering, democracy-spreading shooter, Helldivers. Coming to us recently from Jared Stewart at GameRant. This one reads, Helldivers 2 calls for aid and Xbox recruits shall answer. Listen to this next part. A sword day, a red day, ere the sun rises in Helldivers 2. Ooh, laying hard into that Ride of the Rohirrim reference. I like it already. It isn't technically the eve of Helldivers 2's Xbox launch yet, but actually in this case it is. Though with 3 consecutive major orders, a first for Helldivers 2, Arrowhead is ensuring that Xbox recruits arrive during a momentous and calamitous occasion. Indeed, August 26 will already be special due to the highly anticipated Halo 3 ODST Legendary Warbond, which boasts nostalgic Halo items with Helldivers 2 flavor, such as the MA5C assault rifle and M90A shotgun. Players will have no problem earning a big chunk of medals towards this legendary warbond if they manage to conquer all 3 of the major orders that have been hurled at them, but it'll truly take a Rohan-sized helping of additional reinforcements to secure a victory against every enemy faction in Helldivers 2. Somewhat hilariously, literally every active mission effort is contributing to Helldivers 2's triple major order ordeal. It began with 1 and quickly escalated to 3, encouraging every enemy faction to play a massive role in the upcoming Helldivers 2 Xbox launch. Now, Xbox players will be diving into missions amid one of the most demanding and daunting major order events in the game's history, and Arrowhead is firmly relying on Xbox players to turn the tide for players on PC and PlayStation 5, who presently don't stand a chance of winning it by themselves. Each major order, with roughly 7 days left apiece at the time of this writing, reads as follows. Now, since the article is out of date and these kill counts are ever progressing, I wanted to give you the up-to-date stats. With 6 days, 16 hours to go, we are 21.6% done with the bugs, 34.4% done with the bots, but we only have 6 days, 11 hours there. Also on the Illuminate, we are 25.8% done with 6 days and 11 hours to go. So we have a lot of killing that we have to get done. Stewart also goes into the crazy multitude of dispatches currently fighting against the Helldivers, like massive outbreaks of specific and unusually deadly enemies on certain planets. It's basically hell, okay? It's like it says in the game's title, Welcome to Hell, Xbox recruits. On August 26th, there will only be 5 days left to complete Helldivers 2's major orders, an unenviable and Herculean task for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S players, even altogether. That said, it's unclear how many Xbox players can realistically be expected to crest the hill and come flooding downward to slay Terminids, Automatons, and the Illuminate. Either way, it'll be stunning to see Helldivers 2's player counts skyrocket, and for nearly every Helldiver to be adorned in Halo 3 ODST gear. Arrowhead's thumb is directly on players' pulses, and the studio couldn't be amplifying the stakes more perfectly, with only a couple of days remaining before PlayStation and Xbox reunite, and what may hopefully be one of the industry's best showcases of console marriages, and an adoration for players coming together to combat a common enemy, horrific sci-fi aliens and robots. As always, I'll include a link to this article down in the video description. You should definitely go check it out for yourselves. And if you scroll down far enough on this article, there's even a comment section in case you want to engage with that. But what Stewart touches on ever so briefly is just how monumental a day this is going to be for not only Helldivers, but gaming. I can't remember a time when exclusives weren't the norm when it came to platforms. If you wanted Halo, you had to be on Xbox. If you wanted God of War, you had to be on PlayStation, and so on. And here, we're finally seeing a first-party title, actually the fastest-selling first-party title in the history of PlayStation, making the jump over to multi-plat, bringing in Team Green, and I see that enthusiasm down in my comment sections for my videos. I mean, I'm pumped, you're pumped, everyone is ready for the go live to finally team up and dive together. Quickly, while we're talking launch times for the Xbox light switch to be flicked to on, that one comes really early tomorrow morning, 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 1 a.m. Pacific and 9 a.m. BST, with the ODST Warbond coming 4 hours later. So that's 8 a.m. EST, 5 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. BST. So again, don't expect to dive in as a new Xbox or just new recruit and see the ODST gear just sitting there. It's going to be introduced 4 hours later. Now, how many Xbox recruits we will see is a question and topic we touched on in my last Helldivers upload, and we've got some new information coming in from Matt Piscatella at Circana concerning player engagement tracking. Now, for both PlayStation and Xbox, Helldivers was not in the top 15 for weekly active users in the US, with the obvious Xbox excuse being that the game isn't yet available. And we'll have to wait and see how those numbers look once it does go live. But on the flip side, according to Piscatella, Helldivers is either 5th or 6th for weekly active users on Steam PC for all of North America, hanging around with the likes of Marvel rivals. Now, for those of you who don't know, Piscatella and Circana is a retail tracking research firm, and they have a record of being super accurate with their information. So first off, and this really sticks out to me, is the difference between the current diver engagement levels for both PlayStation and PC, which seems a little bit off, seeing as how this is a PlayStation title, but it does certainly raise a few eyebrows, right? Now, if PS5 is not registering on that player engagement chart, how well will Xbox deliver tomorrow morning? I mean, that's a strong question for chat because I honestly don't know. I'd love to see a big swing of PlayStation come back into the game along with the strong PC engagement and of course a ton of new Team Green recruits, but you can bet I'm going to be watching that in-game player count meter with intensity, not only tomorrow, but each and every day as we settle into a new 3-party Helldivers Army system. Will tomorrow see a shift of player count percentages with PC still being the majority, but with Xbox moving into the second largest percentage and PlayStation coming in third? Again, I'm not rage baiting here, just asking a legit question, one which you can drop a comment about down below. Okay, speaking some more about Team Green, of course, tomorrow's launch and joining fresh into Helldivers, here's a big PSA for any new recruits out there wondering, what are the differences for the pre-order editions versus picking it up after the game goes live? What will you get and what will you not? Here you go. For the standard edition of the game, you get 3 armor sets that can currently only be unlocked by pre-ordering Helldivers 2. Now, the first of these is the TR7 Ambassador of the Brand, aka the Yogurt Diver armor, which is a medium armor set with the extra padding armor passive, giving it a higher armor rating than standard medium armor. And of course, this armor is the only set currently in the game with that unmistakable blue. Also in the medium armor category is the second of these 3 pre-order armors, and it's actually one of my favorite sets, the TR9 Cavalier of Democracy gear with Democracy Protects as the passive. Now, anyone that has ever used this passive in the past can tell you it can save you from some of the most over-the-top incoming danger you've ever seen in this game. But like the TR7, there are other gear sets in the game that have these same passives. And finally, here's one that you don't often see Helldivers use, the heavy TR62 Knight Armor with Servo Assisted, which not only gives you extra limb health, but it greatly increases your throwing range for grenades and even the strat balls, so you can yeet those things from downtown directly in on enemy strongholds. Now, of course, all 3 of these passives and gear combos can and will be found in many other gear sets in the game, but for these color combos and designs, you can only get these 3 by pre-ordering. Also, for the more expensive Super Citizen Edition, you're going to get the DP53 Savior of the Free medium armor set, again with Democracy Protects as the passive, and this gear has the unique helmet with those wing attachments on top of it. There's also the Will of the People cape with the gold Helldiver logo on the back. A weapon is in here as well, which is the MP98 Knight SMG, which is actually pretty decent, especially when you get the extended mags unlocked, and of course, that rate of fire is mental. The Super Citizen status is also here. It's kind of small, but you can find it down below. It's the icon that goes next to your gamer tag. And finally, you'll get the Stratagem Hero video game on your Super Destroyer, so you can practice your up, down, left, right strat sequences. And to round it all out, the Premium Warbond token is in here as well. Now, as a long-time and grizzled vet of Helldivers 2, I've seen a ton of Warbonds slowly added to the game since launch, but as Xbox divers, you won't have to wait for them to individually be added to the game, and you'll get the opportunity to unlock them at your own pace. There's a lot of options here, and it can seem overwhelming at first, but here's where I'm going to try to help you out with a personal recommendation. If you're looking for what many consider to be the best Warbond in the game, use that Premium Warbond token, or just outright spend 1,000 super credits, which equals roughly $10 USD, and purchase the Democratic Detonation Warbond. Why? Well, let me explain. Page 1 features the thermite grenades, which will cook pretty much everything in the game, especially those big, nasty elite enemies like Hulks, Factory Striders, Chargers, and Bile Titans, along with hardened enemy structures like cannons, mortars, and spawners. Also on page 1 is the Judy, the Adjudicator Assault Rifle, which features medium armor penetration rounds. It can be upgraded and customized, and it has good base damage, coming in at 95. Page 2 of this Warbond is where it starts to really heat up though. There's the lightweight tweener demolition specialist armor with engineering kit as the passive for reduced recoil and +2 throwables, for instance, those thermies on page 1, but the weapon here on page 2 is what you're after. The Eruptor is incredibly strong and can be customized and upgraded to your taste. It also has explosive damage, shrapnel, and heavy armor penetration. Its only real weaknesses are it can feel clunky at first, and if you connect with a target too close to your current area, it can kill you. But outside of that, it makes the entire Warbond purchase absolutely worth it. But wait, because there's even more goodies on page 3, like the FS55 super beefy Devastator armor with Fortified, and that 50% resistance to explosive damage is a player favorite versus the automatons. And finally, you're going to get 2 more weapons here on page 3, including the grenade pistol, which can not only be used to kill enemy targets, but also be used against things like bug holes, and the exploding crossbow is also here. It's very good at doing the same, as both are medium armor pen and feature high base damage. But overall, if I had to do it all again and start from scratch with only one Warbond I could unlock, this one, Democratic Detonation, would be my first choice. If you are on PC or PlayStation, definitely drop a comment for all of our new divers joining tomorrow about those Warbonds, which were good and why and what to avoid. And to finish this Everything Xbox edition off for today, I'm going to help out you new divers with some more valuable early game advice, as you're going to be scrambling for both rec slips and medals. That's just part of the game, and you can easily run dry of both with all the options that are going to be flung in your direction. So, at your ship's computer, you're going to gain access to stratagems, and these are weapons and support items we Helldivers can call in to help turn the tide of an engagement. Now, if you're looking for some real firepower and value for those rec slips and medals over there at the terminal, here's some recommendations. First up is the Stalwart machine gun, which is unlocked at rank 1, that's silly, for 3,500 rec slips. This light armor pen weapon has variable fire rates, and many divers, me included, use it as a primary weapon. It features a mobile reload, so that means you don't have to take a knee to fill it up and reload it, and it can shred light and medium armored targets, even heavily armored enemies, once you learn their weak points. The GR8 recoilless rifle can be had at rank 5. Damn, I forgot about this one. For 6,000 rec slips, and outside of this anti-tank weapon requiring you to use its specific ammo backpack and, of course, the stationary reloads, It really has no other downsides to it. There's really nothing in the game that the recoilless can't absolutely evaporate, which you will quickly find out and appreciate. Available at rank 1 for only 1,500 rec credits is the Eagle Strafing Run, with its super easy to remember up, right strat sequence. Now the Strafing Run features heavy armor pen, can be called in as close air support, has 5 uses, and has a relatively low cooldown to replenish those 5 after you finish them up. Funneling in enemies and then laying this thing down on top of them will quickly finish them off. And a little tip for you new divers out there, the Strafing Run is easy to gauge where it will land, as it comes in from behind the diver and will attack in the direction you were facing when you called it in. If you want to squash the enemies of Managed Democracy, look them square in the eyes when calling in this Eagle of Justice. And finally, the Machine Gun Sentry is also available at just rank 1, costing the same 1,500 rec slips. And consider this thing like calling in another Helldiver with a machine gun for a limited time. The MG Sentry features medium armor pen and also has relatively low cooldowns between uses. If you are about to get overwhelmed, have a strategic high point, or about to get into a heavy encounter, calling in one of these machine gun sentries can make the difference between life and death. Just be careful around any of these weapons and stratagems, because in Helldivers, friendly fire is always on. But there we go, some interesting topics to discuss along with those warbond and stratagem suggestions, so there's a lot for you, my viewers, to chime in on. If you are new to the game and looking for a solid and experienced Helldivers community, check in the video description and pinned comments for a link to my public Discord server. There, we've got Helldivers channels for general chat, armory discussions, and of course, the popular LFG or Looking for Group channel. There, you can post your level of experience and how many divers you need, and other members of the Discord will pop in and assist you. Plus, we have access to free voice channels, so you can squad up, turn on those mics, and coordinate your delivery of Managed Democracy. Make sure to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to stay up to date on all things Helldivers. Thanks to all of our current channel members, and of course your continued support. And until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.